Tonight we have a spine-tingling story that will send shivers down your spine. The Legend of La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. This haunting tale has terrified generations across Latin America, and today we're going to explore it in depth. But before we dive in, if you love creepy stories and supernatural encounters, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Now turn off the lights, settle in, and get ready to be scared as we unravel the eerie legend of La Llorona. Imagine walking alone by a river at night, the moon casting eerie shadows, and suddenly you hear it, a mournful wail echoing through the still air. "I'm his hijos!" A cry so haunting it sends shivers down your spine, a vengeful spirit doomed to roam near bodies of water, eternally mourning her children whom she drowned in a fit of jealous rage. But is it just a legend, or is there more to this terrifying tale? The legend of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is one of Mexico's most famous and enduring tales, shrouded in sorrow and horror. It tells the tragic story of a beautiful woman named Maria and the dire consequences of her fateful actions. Maria was known throughout her village for her stunning beauty and captivating charm. Her allure caught the eye of a wealthy and handsome man, and soon they were married. Together they had 2 children, a boy and a girl, whom Maria adored. For a time they lived in blissful happiness, and Maria became the envy of all the women in the village. However, as years passed, Maria's husband began to change. He grew distant, spending less time at home and more time away. Maria discovered the heartbreaking truth that he had been seeing another woman. Devastated by betrayal, consumed by jealousy and rage, Maria felt her world crumble around her. One evening, driven to the brink of madness by her despair, Maria took her children to the river. The water, dark and silent, mirrored her turbulent emotions. Blinded by her anguish, she did the unthinkable. She drowned her beloved children in the river's cold embrace. Almost immediately, the realization of her horrific actions shattered her. Overcome with grief and guilt, Maria ran along the riverbank, wailing and searching for her children, crying out, "Dónde están mis hijos?" Where are my children? Unable to bear the weight of her guilt, Maria threw herself into the river, joining her children in death. When she arrived at the gates of heaven, she was denied entry and sent back to earth to find her children. Since then, her spirit has been condemned to wander the earth, eternally searching for her lost offspring. La Llorona's ghost is said to appear near bodies of water, dressed in a white flowing dress, her long hair cascading down her back. Her face is often obscured, but those who see her describe her eyes as empty and filled with sorrow. She roams the rivers and lakes, her mournful wails echoing through the night, sending chills down the spine of anyone who hears them. People believe that La Llorona kidnaps children, mistaking them for her own. This aspect of the legend has been used by many parents to scare their children into behaving and to keep them away from dangerous waters at night. The story of La Llorona has been passed down through generations and has become a staple of Mexican folklore. It serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked emotions and actions. La Llorona's tale is also a reflection of deep sorrow and regret, stemming from irreversible mistakes. La Llorona is more than just a ghost story. She is a cultural icon. Her legend has inspired countless retellings in books, movies, and songs, and she remains a haunting figure in the imaginations of those who hear her story. Her wails of "Dónde están mis hijos" continue to resonate, reminding everyone of the pain of loss and the quest for redemption. In many communities, the story of La Llorona is not just a tale, but a lived experience. Numerous accounts and sightings have been reported, each adding to the chilling lore of the Weeping Woman. Whether seen as a ghostly figure floating above the water or heard as a distant, sorrowful cry, La Llorona's presence is a haunting reminder of a mother's eternal grief. The legend of La Llorona continues to captivate and terrify, a poignant narrative that echoes the depths of human emotion and the supernatural. She stands as a timeless symbol of remorse and the tragic consequences of a moment of madness. Her story endures, a spectral figure eternally bound to the rivers and lakes, searching for the children she lost and leaving a trail of fear and sorrow in her wake. In another bone-chilling account, Benigno Koch recalls a night near a river in Belize. As he walked, a white figure with hollow eyes floated towards him. Terrified, he ran, but the figure followed, her cries echoing in his ears. Was it truly La Llorona, forever searching for her lost children? Benigno Koch was no stranger to the eerie tales that permeated the village folklore, but he had always regarded them as mere stories to entertain or scare children. Little did he know his own experience would soon become one of those tales, shared around fires and at family gatherings. It was a warm, moonlit night when Benigno decided to take a walk along the riverbank. The day had been exhausting, and he sought the quiet solace of the river to clear his mind. The path was familiar, a dirt trail that followed the river's edge, dotted with trees whose branches swayed gently in the night breeze. As he walked, lost in thought, he noticed a strange white figure in the distance. At first he thought it was a trick of the moonlight, perhaps the reflection of the moon on the water, but as he drew closer he realized it was a person. The figure seemed to float above the ground, moving slowly towards him. A sense of dread washed over Benigno. He tried to dismiss it as irrational fear, but the figure continued to approach, its white garments billowing despite the still air. As it neared, Benigno could see that it was a woman. Her face was partially obscured by long dark hair, but what struck him most was her eyes, or rather, the absence of them. The sockets were empty, dark voids that seemed to pull in the surrounding light. Terrified, Benigno turned and ran towards the village, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew he needed to reach the safety of the lit street, where the glow of the lamps would offer some protection. His footsteps pounded against the earth, but despite his speed, he could feel the presence behind him, relentless and unwavering. He glanced over his shoulder and saw the figure still following him. In her hands, she held something close to her chest. It was a small, indistinct shape, but he couldn't make out what it was. The woman's mournful wails began to fill the air. "Ay, mis hijos!" The cries were filled with such sorrow and despair that they seemed to penetrate his very soul. Finally, Benigno reached the street. The warm glow of the streetlights provided a stark contrast to the cold fear that had gripped him. He stumbled towards a nearby house, pounding on the door. An elderly woman opened it, her eyes widening in shock as she saw the terror on his face. "La Llorona," he gasped, pointing towards the river. The woman nodded grimly and quickly ushered him inside. She bolted the door and drew the curtains, muttering prayers under her breath. Benigno spent the rest of the night in the old woman's house, unable to shake the image of the weeping woman and her haunting cries. The next day he shared his experience with the villagers. Many were skeptical, but the older ones nodded knowingly, having heard similar stories throughout their lives. The encounter left Benigno deeply shaken. He could no longer dismiss the tales as mere superstition. He knew what he had seen, and the memory of La Llorona's eyeless face and sorrowful wails would haunt him forever. From that day on, Benigno avoided the river at night. The villagers too became more cautious, leaving offerings at the riverbank to appease La Llorona. They hoped to protect themselves from her sorrowful spirit, knowing that her eternal search for her lost children brought a warning and a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. These are not just stories, they are the living, breathing fears of those who have come face to face with La Llorona. Are you ready to explore the dark waters and uncover the truth behind these haunting encounters? Stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling tales. Remember, if you hear her wails, run the other way, for La Llorona's sorrow knows no bounds, and her eternal search for her children continues to this day. Thank you for watching. Have you ever had an encounter with La Llorona? Share your story in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and beware the weeping woman. The story presented in this video is based on alleged true encounters with La Llorona, shared by individuals who believe they have experienced this chilling phenomenon. While these tales are deeply rooted in folklore and cultural narratives, their authenticity cannot be independently verified. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more spine-tingling tales, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. Have your own story about La Llorona or other supernatural experiences? Share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe and beware of the weeping woman.